This morning, a legal fight playing out in the NFL. Florida's Attorney General has issued an investigative subpoena to the league, claiming its diversity hiring practices violate state law. The dispute centers on the NFL's so-called Rooney Rule. The policy has required teams to interview external candidates who are persons of color and/or women for top coaching and executive positions. The NFL adopted the rule in 2003.
Nobody is forced to hire you. What they're forced to do is interview minority candidates so you know that qualified candidates don't have this proverbial glass ceiling hovering over them.
Back in March, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier threatened possible legal action against the NFL unless it suspended the rule, arguing it unlawfully uses race and gender as factors in employment decisions. The move prompted the league to revise parts of the policy, saying it expands the pool of candidates considered, adding final hiring decisions remain with each club. The NFL also previously ended a mandate that all 32 teams hire a minority coach as an offensive assistant.
There are problems with the process for sure, but the problem is not the rule. Like just like Bomani said, the owners being just doing it for show. Yeah, that's an issue. If you're not giving a person a real serious interview, it's a problem. But that's not the rule problem. The rule is there because this country is racist. The black people are only 13% of this country, guys. There's more white men in this country than there are black people altogether. So we got to put this in perspective, and all the money at the top is with a lot of white men at the top. So I want this to be in perspective. There's always going to be an uphill climb for black people, and anything that gets us in front of the people and in the room is a good thing.
The Rooney
That's how I
Rule was
look at it.
established. The Rooney Rule was established in 2003. So it's relatively 23 years old. So the data, like you said, of black head coaches before 2003 and after 2003. That's the statistical data that we have to
dissect, yeah, for sure.
to dissect and to see if because I have a problem with the process. I get the rule. I get the reasoning for the rule. I get but what I am saying is, if you're going to, we talk about collusion in that league all the time.
Yeah.
We come on. That's what I'm trying. I'm not obtuse, nigga. Why Lamar Jackson ain't get a motherfucking guaranteed contract? Why motherfucking the Atlanta Falcons didn't call that nigga when he was a free agent and needed a motherfucking quarterback? Why? What's the collusion of when of Colin Kaepernick doing a police brutality protest? What's the real collusion when them niggas
like you are 100% on with that. I get you, bro, and I feel you on that, and that is a good conversation to have. I do think that is a separate conversation that I do think is worth having, but I'm talking about the Rooney Rule and this subpoena because we're in an era of pulling back things that are help people of diverse natures getting seen. Period. True. It's almost like they only want white men to make money in this country. There is collusion in the NFL, absolutely, and I'm not blind to that. Like I am 100% blind, and we do need to count. We need to fight that too, bro. Like 100%, we need to fight that. But when we say, oh well, when we're so like cavalier about the Rooney Rule and like whatever, like I don't like that sentiment because it's not put moving things forward. It's not. It's helping. It's pulling things backwards. Honestly.
No, and this is we might be having. You saying we're having two different conversations, but I really think they're interconnected because now listen, because this is the real facts of the Rooney Rule. You have the inception of 2003, where you have to interview at least, like you said, at least one minority candidate for a head coaching vacancy, right? Then in 2009, the first expansion, there's a mandate that you have to include senior football operation and front offices positions like general managers, okay? So from 2003, 2009, like you said, we don't see a lot of diversity in the control. That's just to your point. We just need a face of control, right? We need a face of control. It's still going to come with the directives of who it is. So that's my thought process too, because I'm not trying to be surface. It's Chris Greer for the Dolphins, my nigga. Let's keep it the Dolphins. Stephen Ross, white owner. Chris Greer, black GM. Brian Flores, black head coach. What surrounded that franchise? Tanking. Now, Brian Flores was like, nigga, you sacrifice me and my credibility and what I can then go out to do on the open market, because in our private conversations, you was offering me an extra $100,000 for every loss so we can get a top-notch quarterback. Now, when we got to it, I didn't play the nigga because I didn't think he could play, because I'm trying to win. Brian Flores was then presented with Chris Greer as the face, black face, to be like, you gotta go. That's coming from the top. You see what I'm saying? So the dynamic of still hiring a black head coach and a black GM to still give white directives, it's still not correlating to me as the important. I know the
I get
importance
you, and
of it.
that's
But like,
one scenario.
that's
That's
true,
just
but that's
one
many of them.
scenario. Okay, then give me a second one.
The second one is the stricter update for the requirements of teams requiring to interview at least 2 minority candidates for head coaching positions and at least 1 for offensive coordinator position. So that's why I wasn't sticking to the offensive coordinator. I was asking, it's a requirement for that. So I'm not caping for the attorney general or caping for these white billionaires. I'm really still, now we talking about freedoms. We talking about freedom with boundaries, correct? We just had that conversation. I own this team. This is me. I pay a fee to be in here. You about to tell me who I can hire, why I gotta hire him, the meaning of
Again,
why I
it's
gotta
not
hire him.
who
Like
you can hire; it's who you have
I
to
I
interview.
I
And
understand.
I think that the distinction is very important. I think it's very important that we don't just say hire, because it's very different. Like if you're saying, "Oh yeah, I only want to hire white people," yes, you can subvert the rule and whatever, but at least you're hiring, at least you're interviewing certain people that are not. I think that means something. I'm sorry. I can't sit here and just act like you're telling a billionaire who to hire. It's not what the rule is. Like we
I
gotta
mean, you're
stop saying
telling a
that.
billionaire, okay, you're telling the okay, semantics. You're telling a billionaire who to interview.
That's not the
That is really
semantics.
semantics.
That is not
Okay,
semantics.
okay, okay.
You're
Uh,
telling them here that you have to open the pool and find some people that are diverse and interview them. Yes, what is wrong with that in America? Like, what is wrong with in this country that is full of diverse people and people who are
I'm not.
qualified that are not
I'm
just white men,
hold
even
on.
women?
I'm
It's
not.
not even just. It's not, you not even got to do. Even you
It
don't got to
is
interview black
yeah.
people if you want. You can get
Gender,
a white
gender's
woman.
next. Yes,
You can
gender's
just
next.
you can just get a white woman and
Gender's.
interview her. What is the problem with that?
I'm not saying that there's a. Okay, you're making it.
Yes, the owner has to do that. You know why? Because the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that is worldwide and is made off the black of black men. So there's a lot you're impacting so many people. So yes, I do think in big corporations it is a positive incentive to get more culture, to get more diversity in your company. Why is that a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. It's just not even that you
I'm
gotta
not.
hire them. It's just interviews.
That's,
We're
that's
talking
what I'm
about
saying.
we're like debating if somebody should get an interview outside of white men. This is crazy to me.
I'm not I'm not debating that. What I am again, we're talking about the semantics of the. It's a requirement that I interview someone, right? Like you say, based on let's meet America where we're at, right? Meet America where we're at. We just talked about you have to be a billionaire. It's hard to be a billionaire without having some type of humanity. There's not really too many billionaires we look at. So there are layers, and we're peeling back the layers of what we're talking
Billionaires
about.
need regulation, bro. Billionaires do
I
need to be told what the fuck to do sometimes because they have so much power. No one man should have all that power. That's a song for a reason. Because if you don't check these guys, they will be unfair. If you don't check these guys, they will funnel and put people around them that only are yes men. If you don't check these guys, they will make sure only people that look like them and think like them have ability to get money and live out a specific dream of maybe coaching or GMing or whatever. And yes, their cognitive dissonance biases need to be fucking checked every single time. They need to be checked, bro.
Is that just with billionaires or is that with people? Because we
That's
have,
what people.
because I mean, people do have their prejudice and want to work with their people. They want to work with, they want like everyday, day to
This
day
is America.
operation.
If you want to work with people that are just you, go to a country that's predominantly white, or go to a country that's predominantly
Why,
white
why,
or black,
why do I
or
have to do that in
predominantly whatever.
America? If I have the ability to do that in America, and I own my private and I own my company. Like, why? That's what I think that, and that's why I feel like I'm on the
I
wrong
want you to
side of
understand
history.
something.
And I'm arguing that.
It depends on the 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 impact of your company and how big it is to me. It's a big determination on, yes, should you be told to hire diverse candidates? If it's a corporate, if you're incorporated, I do think that should be a necessary thing. You are creating jobs. If you are creating more than 1,000 jobs, you should have somebody who's not just like you. I'm sorry, if you're creating more than 1,000 jobs, you should be demanded to interview people that look differently, that sound differently, have different ideas of thinking, different cultures involved. When you, I don't care if it's IBM, I don't care if it's Apple, I don't care if it's Google, Amazon, whatever it may be. Yes, you should be forced to interview people that are not just white people. It's now if you're making like a home kitchen, or you're making a mom and pop shop, you shouldn't be forced to hire some random kid
No,
down the street
I'm
that
not. I'm not. saying-
it's just
I'm talking
different.
about. I'm talking about $1 billion studio. I'm talking about a studio. I'm talking about for me to make a film and be nominated for an
Yes,
Oscar.
yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
have to be like, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm
Open your
saying is,
brain up and mind up and hire a white cameraman, Chris. There's nothing wrong with that, or not even hire. Talk to him. Have an interview with the guy, and still go hire the black guy maybe. But yes, the cameraman. You're creating a black movie on, or maybe you're creating the Shaft 2026, whatever you want to do. All black cast, cool. At least talk to the white cameraman to see if he got the skills to do what you want. That that's all I'm trying to say. In America, this is a unique country and with a unique history. Black men are putting their bodies on the line for the NFL every week, every year, I'll say, for 17, 18 plus weeks. If the owner is not even mandated to at least talk to another person that looks like the people he's making his money off of, I do think there's an issue there. I do think there's an inherent issue, and that's why the rule is necessary. If you made it this far, you are a real one. Thank you. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more daily content from your boys from Everything Is.